this is Elliot Eisenberg of Graphs and Laughs here to catch you up to date on the latest in residential sales data. Beginning in Hillsborough County, single-fam home prices dropped just a skosh at 0.3%, very small. Multifam prices rose by 3%. If you look at sales activity, it was down in the low teens for both single at -14 and -13 for multifamily. If you look at sales price to list price, it was down for both types of property also, down 4.2 for single fam and a little more at 5.7 for multifam. If you look at pending sales, you guessed it, it was down for both types of property again, almost 4% for single fam and 1.5% for multi. And if you look at inventory, active inventory number of units, it was up for both types of properties. 65% for single and a much larger 117% for multi, and that was the case across all three counties in the area. All in all, Hillsborough County was the most placid of all three counties. Looking at Pasco County, single-fam sales prices there fell by about 2%, but multifam prices were up almost 21%. Similarly, on sales activity, single fam down by about 9%, but multifam sales activity was up 1%, the best of all three counties in the area. Sales price to list price declined for both single and multifamily by about 3% in both cases. In terms of pending sales activity, single fam fell by 1.6%, again, pretty normal and standard for the course. But multifam was up a staggering almost 50%, by far the best of all three counties in the area. If you look at overall inventory levels, they're up about 85% for single fam and almost 220%, with single fam going up much stronger here and in the other counties as well. In this particular county, the outstanding performer is by far multifam, probably the result of new construction activity and lots of buying of those new condos. If we now look at Pinellas County, it's the only county with positive home price appreciation for both single and multifamily. Single fam home prices up about 2% and multifam up a very strong 7.1%, the second best only behind Pasco multifam. So some very strong performance on prices here in Pinellas County. If we now turn our attention to sales activity, it's down about 21% for both single and multi, and sales price as a function of list price is down 4.5% for single and a little bit less for multifam at 4.1%. If we look at pending sales activity, it's down a large 13.6% for single fam, the largest in the entire of all three counties, whereas multifam is down just 4%, more normal than standard. Lastly, if you look at inventory and availability, it's up 37.5% for single fam, and like everywhere else, multifam is up much more. In this particular case, almost 152%. Turning our attention to the national economy, while 23 Q1 GDP came in at a very weak 1.1% annualized growth rate, Q2 GDP looks to be a little better, maybe as high as 2%. While that's clearly not exceptionally good number, it's higher. And the key thing here is, as a result of that, inflation is coming down more slowly than the Fed wants. Unemployment hasn't begun to go up, and wage growth hasn't really come down very much. And this is causing the Fed real fits. They want to see these variables go in the right direction as far as they're concerned, of a weaker economy and slower growth, so that inflation comes down and then they can lower rates and so on and so forth. This isn't happening. As a matter of fact, there's now talk in the markets and among Fed officials that maybe they'll even consider raising rates at their next meeting by 1/4 point. I really don't think that they'll do that at all, but they may keep it on the table and raise them at the meeting after that, sometime in July or August. We'll see. But the fact is, the economy's picked up a little bit of steam, or is slowing down much more slowly than we thought. And this is preventing that optimistic, hope for, wish, desired pause in interest rate hikes before the Fed actually pivots and begins to lower them. What we've seen in May is interest rates actually dribble up a little bit because the economic data's come in a little bit better than we had hoped. That said, I suspect by the end of the year, interest rates will still be meaningfully lower than they are now. My big concern remains a recession, but it's very important to point out that this recession is not going to be a recession like 0809, or if you talk to your parents, 80, 81, 82, or your grandparents and ask them about 73, 74. Those were really bad recessions. This is likely to be a regular, ordinary, garden variety recession that we simply don't remember in 3 or 4 years' time because it wasn't bad enough. That said, it's still most likely to come sometime towards the end of the second half of this year. That's it for now. I look forward to seeing you next month.